Hello, friends, and welcome to Butterfly Meadows Homestead. I'm Dorinda. Today, I am dehydrating eggs, and I wanted to show you how to do it really quick. If you have chickens and you know that they lay abundantly during certain times of the year, and then when it gets wintertime and as the days get shorter and there's less daylight, sometimes they stop laying altogether or they will lay less often. And so when we have eggs in abundance, it's nice if we have a way to preserve those eggs to have during the wintertime when we don't have an abundance of eggs. So I found that dehydrating them is a great way to preserve them. I know there's lots of other ways, but dehydrating is easy. If you have any kind of a dehydrator, it's easy to do, and it really reduces the space that it takes to store the eggs. And I just wanted to show you what I do. It's a simple process. Now, I have a Nesco American Harvest dehydrator. It's very old. I don't know exactly how old it is. I bought it used at a thrift store years ago. It works just fine. And I do have a few extra trays other than the ones here, but I only have 4 of the trays that you can put the liquid in. So that's why I don't have very many trays in here. And I'm going to be showing you this from the end product to the beginning because it's just easier that way. I have some eggs that are ready to come out of the dehydrator. I'm going to take them out, show you what I do with them, and then we're going to refill the dehydrator so you'll see what you do in the beginning. And so these are the little trays that I was talking about that you can pour the liquid into. And this is what the eggs look like once they're dehydrated, and they will just crumble up really easy. And it is kind of messy. I have not figured out a way to make it less messy because these are round, hard plastic trays. They're not, they're a little bit flexible, but not like silicone, and so it can be a little bit messy trying to get the egg off of the tray. And this is the cup to my Ninja blender. And I'm going to be putting the dried egg into the cup. And I have this clean towel down here to catch the things that I miss. And then I can use the towel to gather up what I missed and put it into my cup. So I just, as best I can, um, get all of the egg off of the tray. And you want your eggs to be completely dry, not gummy or gooey at all. You might notice that they're kind of shiny, almost oily, and that's fine. Uh, that doesn't mean they're wet. That's the fat from the egg. So here's the next tray, and it just gathers together pretty easy. And I'm going to put it in my little cup here. And I have found that each one of these trays holds about 4 eggs easily without running over. Here's what it looks like. And I will be washing these little plastic trays before I put my next batch on. But for now, I'm just going to stack them over here out of the way. So I have them here in my Ninja blender cup. And you can use any kind of blender that you have to blend your eggs. The goal is we want to make this into a powder because that will help when we go to rehydrate them and use them if they are in powder form. So it only takes just a little bit to pulse them and turn them into a powder. And you don't want to like turn it on and let it just go and go and go. until it all turns into a powder. I just pulse very slowly and shake it around, because you don't want, when something is blending in the Ninja or any other blender and just blending and blending, it tends to heat up, and we don't want the eggs to get hot. So just pulse and shake until you get it into powder form. Okay, and I am happy with this. I have my trays all washed and dried and ready to be reloaded into the dehydrator. And you don't want to move the tray around once you have the raw egg in it. So be sure you have all of that in place and you have it where you want it to be, so that you don't have to move it around, because it is very easy to spill these little trays. And like I said, I have found that my trays, and you can figure out how much your trays will hold. And my trays will hold about a cup of liquid easily. And 4 eggs equals usually close to 1 cup. So I know that 4 eggs can go on each tray. So I have here my cup, that it's a measuring cup just so I can pour out of it, a fork to stir them up with, and my eggs. Now this is a rather large egg, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit 4 eggs with this one being so large in this one tray. But since this is a measuring cup, I'll know if I'm going over 1 cup. And so you just break your eggs into your cup. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's just below the 1 cup mark. And I'm just going to stir the eggs to mix them up. And then I'm going to pour it into my tray. And once I get it in there, then I usually take my fork and kind of spread it out evenly, because you know eggs, it's not a complete liquid, they kind of stick together, and just get it as even as you can, and then stack on the next one. These are the trays that you would use in your dehydrator if you were doing like fruit leather or anything like that. I think sometimes they're advertised as fruit leather trays, but it's any kind of tray that has a lip or an edge on it so that the egg does not run off. It can't be flat. It has to have some kind of a edge. And since I only have 4 trays, I end up being able to do around 16 eggs at a time. Ah, got a double yolk on that one. See? Double yolk. That happens a lot with young chickens, and my chickens are young. This is their first year laying. now that I have my dehydrator loaded, I'm going to put the top on my dehydrator, set my temperature to 140, and turn it on. And the dehydrator, for me, it needs to run about 16 hours. I really can't tell you how long it'll take to dehydrate yours. It really depends on the humidity in your home, the strength of your dehydrator, and so many things. But you will know when they are dry, when they are just very flaky there on the tray. So let them run until they're dry. You really can't over dry them. When you get ready to use your dehydrated eggs, you're going to want to rehydrate them. And basically what you use is 1 tablespoon of dehydrated egg powder, and you add to that 2 tablespoons of water. And you're just going to mix that together. And that should equal about 1 egg. Now, you want to let this, you don't want to fry this or whatever you're going to do with it right away. You want to let it sit for about 30 minutes or so to give the egg powder time to rehydrate. And I want to show you how I want to fry one and show you how they turn out. And I have one that I've been have set aside rehydrating, and I'm going to go ahead and fry that up for you. Now, when your egg is rehydrated, it will take on more of the gel-like consistency that the egg originally had, but it's not going to be exactly like it was. But once you fry it, scramble it up, it will taste just like it did when it was fresh. So let's turn on our heat, and I'm going to add a little salt to my egg. So we have our egg scrambled up here. And if you add milk to your eggs when you scramble them to make them more fluffy, you can go ahead and do that as well when you get ready to scramble your egg. And I've already put some salt. We're just going to give it a taste. Mm. It's delicious. You cannot tell that that was a dehydrated egg.